Board number one, we've got Dingley Ren, the current World Chess Champion, facing off Pragnananda Ramesh Babu with the black pieces. And this is the opening. Move number 6 to happen right now. They've got a lot of time, 2 hours each. There's no increment after move 40 and stuff like that. So that's all they got. But they got 30-second increment per each move they play. And let me have one little look at the dashboard here with the Streamlabs and things. So sound should be in order now. We multi-broadcasting as per usual, my dear friends. Hello, Gasson. Long time no see. How's it going, man? How's it going? How's the Roman coins doing? Have you increased your collection? Did you do a lot of selling and stuff? How's it going? Okay. So white to play here. I reckon you just need to develop your guys. Which one is it, people? Do you do h3 just to make sure there's no bishop g4 things? Do you do bishop e2? What's the correct approach? Bishop d3? Or they all correct theoretical moves? Okay. Oh, do you want to develop the bishop on c1? Or do you want to move the queen to c2? What do you want to move? Let me just draw the arrows. So, King's Indian, standard variation, and that is very good stuff. Okay. Good luck with the college. What subject do you study at the college, Gasson? What topics or what I mean, like humanists, like science, maths, what's the profile? What are you good at, like physics and stuff? Yeah, bishop e2 is one of the moves. Yeah, I've already highlighted. Cool stuff. I guess there's nothing wrong. No, I mean the college application you said you already did. Is there a, like, you're more inclined to do like humanities or science and maths and physics and stuff? Okay. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. And you're almost finishing your book. What's the title of your book, by the way? Is it like a technical book in relation with the business kind of things, the selling and the coins and the numismatic, or is it a history book or a novel, or oh, you're working on a college application? Okay, okay, very good stuff. So thanks for joining, my friends. Hey, there you go, man. Bishop e2, one of the moves we had proposed as a candidate move for Dingley Ren to play here. Bishop f1 to e2. So that's just part of the developing of the pieces. Some c5 would happen. I don't know, bishop g4 you go here. What do you play here? Or do you do something else? There's a few. The coinage of Frederick III. Jeez, e5. Coinage of Frederick III. Now that sounds quite technical and interesting. Very technical and interesting. I like when young people, young folks like yourself, getting like committed, serious, determined about the study. That makes me happy to hear that. That is very good. The more people study, the more people understand. You have a shot of being more free, so to speak. Yeah, we can debate on this, but I think it sounds very interesting. I haven't got a clue about the subject, but sounds interesting. 17th century. Was it like a Prussian uh, leader, king or something? Friedrich the Third was in Germany or Prussia, or what was he? I can't. I don't remember. Norwegian, Norwegian. Okay, okay. Sounds very interesting. Okay. So, shall we? Norwegian and Danish. Okay, dokie. So, I'm perusing now through the second game, Gukesh and MVL. What do the guys play here? Okay. That's the moves that they played until this very moment. Black's turn to move here. Looks like they played the Sicilian, right? E4, C5, knight F3, D6. Yes, knight off, knight takes D4, knight F6, knight C3, A6. Yep, bishop D3, E5, knight D2, knight C6. Okay, so he didn't do the Yugoslav type of pawn structure, so he went for this though. Instead, Gukesh and Black's turn to play. So I guess you could go bishop e7, you could go b5 or bishop e7 here. Just keep up with the development and see what happens. You need to make some space. I think you totally deserve it. I'm very impressed and oh, absolutely. Hell, it just sounds very technical to do a study on coinage of Friedrich III. That sounds very technical, you know, and definitely looks good. And I'm pretty sure you put a little bit of work into that book of yours. So, yeah. Bishop b7, b5. So that's what I think. And for white here, now if you want to stop ideas with knight g4, bishop g4 and such, perhaps you may want to play h3. Anyway, it is black's turn to move here. So I think we're going to move. You like a3. You like b5, b4 currently not playable. Oh, you want to say knight to b4. Knight to b4. Let me tell you something about knight to b4. Knight to b4, I think it's a little bit premature, I think. I understand the idea, but you're actually attacking a bishop which is currently stuck in between pawns. So I'm not sure what kind of trade would be beneficial for black if you eliminate this bishop. Just my understanding. I mean, yeah, bishop e6 at least you take a couple of squares. Moving twice the same piece in the opening in order to attack a stuck bishop doesn't seem very appealing. So probably moves like bishop e6, bishop e7, castle, that might be something to consider here. Anyway, that's very cool. We're going to go to the next one. Wesley, white, Alireza, black. Okay. Let's see the moves they played. D4, c4, c4, g6, knight c3, d5. White play here. Bishop f4 and castles. Can you do just e3 or it just feels insufficient or something? E3, queen b3 are displayable. Queen b3, you know, sort of like discouraging the bishop on c8 to go somewhere. Perhaps if knight takes, take back with the queen. You do a little bit of pressure on this guy, right? Could you perhaps do this? Queen b3. I don't like very much queen c2. Because I'm just a little bit feeling strange about bishop f5. Yeah, you could go for all sorts of things, but just still feels weird, I think. Queen c2 feels a little bit weird. So maybe queen b3, e3, this kind of ideas here for white, I'd say. Anyway, let's go for another one. So that's Wesley. We got 5 extraordinarily interesting games. And Nepo and Fabi. Black's done to play. What was the last move? Let me see what happened here. Queen a5 pinning, queen to d3. It's like not telling. That was a Sicilian, right? e4, yes. e4c. Oh, that's a dragon. Ooh. Ooh. Now I have the greatest interest for this particular game because they play Sicilian dragon and because white is doing the Yugoslav attack. And we're gonna see the G pawn going 2 steps, and we're gonna see the H pawn going 2 steps as well. So this is the Yugoslav attack, the Sicilian dragon. So I have, let's say, the greatest interest here. And it's interesting, queen d3. I think in the Yugoslav you kind of see queen battery with the bishop aiming for h6 to trade off on g7. I think, if I remember exactly. And then you do castle long in the Yugoslav attack. It's opposite side castling, and it's incredibly sharp very soon. It's getting very, very, very sharp. So that queen d3 just feels a little bit weird. It's like the queen is in principle attackable by knight b4 and stuff, and just feels a little bit weird. Queen to d3. Again, I think queen d2, it's the orthodox approach here, to go for the battery and exchange on h6 if you can. Yeah, okay, we'll see about that. I absolutely love this one, so I need to visit this game maybe a bit more often than the others because I'm very interested. I'm a Sicilian player myself. I'm not that much into the dragon, but anyway, I give you my full interest. And Anish Giri Nordibek, another very exciting game here. Look at the beautiful diagonal of the white bishop. Gorgeous diagonal. This one doesn't work because we've got this. Yeah, okay, if you want to trade the bishop for a knight, sure. So, very interesting. Anish Giri, very, very, very interesting white to play. And it's his turn. Would you keep up the development? Do some bishop move? What do you play here? Do some just bishop g5. Then maybe you do queen d2. I'm very much happy to trading the bishop on g7 when I have the chance to make a battery. I do it and I exchange that bishop. So let's see if they actually go on this idea. Okay. Right. So we do have a Sicilian dragon this evening. That is cool. That says Nepo and Fabi. Queen d3. Oh boy. Queen d2, I think normally. But anyway, we're gonna keep an eye on this. So Dingley ran. Bishop g5. Knight c6. Do you take the knight on c6? Well, you can if you want. Probably you kind of should. Or could you play bishop b5 just to pretend you make a pin? Although there's some, there's something with. After say you play this, let's just say, could it be knight takes? So even if you take the rook, no, I guess you cannot. So is bishop b5 playable? I wonder. Guess it might be. Bishop b5. Let me know, guys, if you have a different idea. You're welcome to type it in, and we'll look at it together. Bishop b5. I like it. Well, there is another thing. Bishop b5, right? Can knight takes on d4? Bishop takes. Knight takes. No. Bishop b5. Ding started to actually think about his next move, so he gives us some time. Good stuff is that they both castle the kings. White king had been moved away from the dark square, so as per not getting forked or checked by queen b6 or any other very unpleasant checks on this dark square diagonal. So king is as safe as it can be. The white king. Black king is also pretty safe-ish. Black needs to figure out what to do with the bishop on c8. So that bishop has to go somewhere, somehow. And doesn't have too many good options, I guess. Probably he's just gonna go very simple, like bishop d7, bishop b5. There you go, the move that I said I would play. I would play bishop b5, and I guess you could respond bishop d7, getting the last minor piece of the back rank, breaking the pin, so to speak. What else do you do with the bishop? What else? Totally. Bishop d7 makes sense, and then perhaps queen d2. Just to make a battery and play bishop h6 and try to get the bishop off. You always need to, you have to strive to, exchange your opponent's bishop, defending bishop. So h6 wants to clarify once and for all what's going on with this bishop. You either stay on this diagonal or you drop it on f or e. I don't know. I don't know which way you want to go. So you need to react to this. Could you take, let's say black takes back, I don't know what, with this guy, and then you take here. Could you? It's getting really sharp now and interesting. It's getting really interesting. So there is a double attack on c6, which is defended only once, and white attacks it twice. If you take the knight with the white knight, you actually hit the queen. So they won't be touching your bishop on g5 because you actually attacked the queen. Could you perhaps consider this? You take a piece. A piece is a piece, though. You attack the queen. Black takes back. I think you kind of have to. I don't see anything else better than taking. Now, upon taking, maybe you continue bishop takes. Just forking two rooks. For Christ's sake, I think it's good. So I'm very tempted to say knight capture c6 could probably be the correct way to respond to this h6 move. I'm not sure if Prague prepared something because he spent, looks like he didn't spend not 2 minutes until this move. So that makes me think, did he prepare something? Is he actually cooking something? I mean, he done some homework and try to scare Ding. I don't know, but it's interesting. I will take on c6. Knight takes c6. And now, guys, if you don't mind, I will move very quickly to Nepo and Fabi. Why? Because they play Sicilian Dragon, and white employs the Yugoslav attack. But interestingly, After queen d3, which came as a surprise for me, normally goes queen d2, right? Fabi kind of didn't move for like 20 minutes. I mean, okay, I wasn't accurate, maybe not quite 20 minutes, but I mean, he already spent like 20 minutes plus, and that's a little bit unexpected, I guess. Normally, every player with the black pieces into dragon expects some queen d2, g4, h4, and stuff like this. That's what happens in the dragon Sicilian. And now, queen d3. Okay. Well, is Fabi exploring already craziness? Knight b4. I don't know. You're kind of attacking the queen. Is it worth it? I don't know. Yeah, it is a6, b5, and this kind of ideas. But anyway, he didn't move. We'll look at this. We'll definitely look at it. Bang to ding. Yeah, these two got my attention. The game in between Dingleran and Pragnananda, and one in between Nepomniachtchi and Fabi. Kind of like them. Maybe slightly more than the others. I'm interested now. So knight c6, it's a move with tempo. It's quite aggressive. It attacks queen and takes stuff from them. Okay, next one we said board number 2, Gukesh with MVL here. Castle short. Isolated pawn on the E, isolated pawn on D for black, D6 and E4, but E4 is pretty much defended now. Bishop E7 being played, white's turn to move. What do you do? If you take the bishop, obviously you're forcing black to take back with the F. And black is going to have two black connected pawns on the 6th rank. And then I guess black can just castle short. Yeah, the white squares will be weakened, so to speak. Is it worth it? Is it playable? Well, you could play it, I guess. Question is if it's indeed good stuff to do. You know, and the bishop is a bishop. It's a bit dangerous, so probably you should take on e6. What else can you play? Hell, you can even go queen e2. You know, queen e2, you connect the rooks, you did a queen lift, you made a battery here. You hold it nicely. You never know, rook ad, where the queen is. So queen e2, I think it's another idea. So two main things, I guess. You either take the bishop, makes sense, or you play queen e2. Play queen e2 for rook ad1, and we'll see. I guess you definitely you could go for this. Yeah, I kind of like queen e2 as well. If black wants to trade the knight on e5 for the bishop on d3 that doesn't do nothing, I think they're welcome. But in comparison, the bishop on e6 compared with the bishop on d3, bishop on e6 is way more active. So that is why I guess knight takes e6 sort of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. Now, who have we got here? Board number 3, Wesley with Ali Reza. Ooh, the guys want to draw today. Queen b3. I mean, what do we do here? Queen takes, pawn takes. This is getting to be a draw, right? Okay, that's not that interesting. If the queens come off the board, the game is not going to be that interesting. I mean, yeah, there is a struggle, there is a fight, but with no queens, you know, the potential for a spectacular maybe kind of decreases. And back to Sicilian. And Fabi didn't move a damn thing, eh? Or did he? Whoa, whoa, apologies. Queen d3. Whoa. Queen a5. Queen d3. I said that was bloody weird. Knight e5 attacking the queen. Queen d2. Well, actually, the queen should have been here from the very beginning, right? That's how you do the Yugoslav attack. Queen d2. Bishop d7. Well, you can get it anywhere. Bishop d7 and, preparing the c file for the rooks. Especially if your castle long, king's on the c file, and that's where you want to get the rooks. Of course, black gonna get the rooks on the c. You bet on this. That's exactly the idea. So one of the two black rooks will make it on c8 for sure. Probably the rook on the f. Reason being, potentially, I don't know, after like 15, 20 moves, the other rook will play either, b or stay where they are and push the pawns and break up things here. And white's gonna go, guys. White's gonna go like this. White's going to go g4, h4, try to break those pawns, defending the black king. So these are the directions for attack for both colors. Yeah, opposite side castling. It's going to be, I think, quite exciting, this game. Quite exciting. Rook fc8. That's one of the ideas. For sure. Queen's going to stay exactly where they are for the time being. Black queen, I mean. Oh, and also not to forget, very important, not to forget, in the dragon, especially in the Yugoslav, once you get the battery with queen d2, bishop e3, you go immediately for bishop h6 and trade off that bishop. So I think more importantly now is for black to actually play rook fc8 now, so that after bishop h6, instead of capturing, which brings the white queen closer, you actually may consider bishop h8. And you keep your beautiful aggressive bishops on the board. If you get them once, I think that might be the right thought. So rook fc, bishop h6, and you do not trade. There you go. There you bloody go. Rook fc8. Exactly as I said. Exactly as I said. And okay, king moved away again prophylactically. This is a move that happens a lot in the dragon, Sicilian dragon. King b1. You just try to move the king away from the c file where the black rook will be forming a battery and attacking and stuff. And again, if there is a bishop h6, black will not take the bishop. Black goes h8, refusing to take the bishop and maintaining, because in the dragon this bishop is key for the attack. Also, it's worth mentioning, if queen leaves the protection of the knight, there is always the idea of rook takes c3 and wrecking those pawns. So white needs to keep an eye on the knight on c3. Yep, that is actually the game that interests me, I would say, maybe the most this evening. I want to see how Fabi plays the dragon at this level. I mean, Sicilian dragon at the highest level, who doesn't want to see it? Now, black should be focusing on attack, improving piece position. You don't need to react to the h6 bishop. Yeah, you just improve, attack, trade off, get the bishop that defends the white king, get him off. Rook takes, obviously. And upon rook taking, you may have a chance, if white gives you a chance, so to speak, you may have a chance to play a battery, maybe rook a to c. And then still sacking here on c3. Queen can't take because the other rook takes. And then pawn has to take. And upon pawn taking, you already got a little bit of an issue. This is just lovely. This bishop looking g7, b2. It's absolutely gorgeous, that bishop. I love it. So I used to play the Sicilian Dragon. That is why I'm kind of familiar with the main broad ideas, the main ideas in the Sicilian Dragon. I think many of the stuff that I'm drawing arrows, that's actually going to happen. Now, from White's point of view, knight b3, try to kick that queen away from this dark squares. Knight to b3, which comes at a cost. It might allow bishop to play e6, though. I don't know. We'll see. Knight b3, maybe. Bishop h6, of course. You could try it. You could try bishop h6, but as sure as hell, black gonna play bishop to h8. They're not gonna take your bishop. And I don't know what exactly happened, so to speak, but white was very slow in doing the G and the H, and that takes you a little bit of tempi. It's not going to happen just instantaneously. It takes a little bit of time. So thank you very much, my friend, on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook that are coming. Even if you come and go and stay just a couple of minutes, perhaps. Cheers, I appreciate, guys, your presence. Okay. So these are the okay, let me do also knight b3. So when we're coming back, we're actually going to see the arrows on the screen for this particular game. If things are evolving in the way I'm saying. Hey, Dingleren really, really deepens the position here. Like I think 10 minutes ago I said knight takes c6 because it's a move with tempo. You attack the black queen though. It's just something you can't just ignore. What I love about the forcing moves is that they can't be ignored. So that's why I like knight takes c6 very much. I really do like it. It's something they need to deal with. And even if they take with the pawn, and probably they should, of course they should, you take back and you attack two rooks. I mean, I don't care. I attack two rooks with a bishop. I'm going to grab one. The A or the E, who cares? So, I hope I'm correct with this one. I hope I'm not missing too much. That's what I like about the longer time controls, like the classical chess they're doing now, because people have time to think. Let's go now again to Gukesh and MVL here. What did Gukesh played? So last time I saw, I drew these arrows, and actually he played Bishop E5. Well, given the fact that the bishop can't be challenged by any black pawn, there ain't no pawn on either E or C columns, so you can play Bishop E5. Bishop D4 to attack E5. I mean, there's no pawns to attacking the bishop. Keep an eye on this diagonal. Okay, fine. I think it's an improvement. Certainly. You know, a very delicate touch, a very, very soft move. Bishop D4. And the piece had changed. I mean, it does do a lot of attacking. That's what it's about. You need to activate and improve your pieces to their maximal potential. I know, easier said than done, but watching these guys we can learn from. And what was it? Oh yeah, Wesley Alireza trade off the queen. So come on. I'm not going to pay too much attention to this game because it looks like the boys want to draw this evening. They traded off the queen. That's a draw. Very likely that's a draw. Back to my beloved Sicilian dragon here. Nepo starts thinking. He's probably aware of the black's ideas in this position. He knows that the c3 will be targeted. Specifically after rook 8 to c8, black's gonna take the knight on c3. And also white knows that after bishop h6, the bishop on g7 is not gonna take your bishop, they're gonna go h8. So he knows that, and he tries to concoct something here. What do you play? I don't know why I have this strange feeling looking at this position that actually it takes an eternity for white to do g4, h4, and anything. It feels like, yeah, there you go, g4 after like a billion years. But what I'm happy about is that I did mention g4 as one of the main ideas. So, given the fact bishop h6 will be met with bishop h8, and you practically didn't do a damn thing, this one is actually the idea in the Yugoslav attack. That's how you play with white against the Sicilian dragon. You play g4, you play h4. But then again, I just have a feeling it'll take a lot of time to do that. Why do I say that? Because rook ac8 probably is going to be. And by the time you do h2, h4, if I remember this stuff correctly, is rook capture c3. You can't take with the queen, obviously, you're going to have to take with the pawn. And what you take with a pawn, you got double pause on the C, isolated on A. It's just how the Sicilian dragon happens, and it's incredibly sharp. Yeah. The bishop on d4 stays here to stop bishop e6 for the time being. If you push e5, it's not that great because you're going to be creating a backward weak black pawn on d6. So therefore e5 probably not the best thing ever in this position. It's definitely not. So for black, I would say rook ac8 is the stuff you want to do. I think it's in the spirit of the stuff. Of course, I guess you could go. Can you go b? Yeah, you can go b. So one of these two, but I guess rook c8 makes a lot of sense. You increase the power of the rooks on the c column. I think it makes a lot of sense. And white needs to be very cautious. Whatever that means. I don't know what it means. Cautious here means just attack more than the other guy. If you don't get checkmated in a move 2 or 3, increase the attack. You know? And attack for white is h4. That's the stuff. And hell, you're gonna go h5, to which black doesn't have to react again. So again, I have the feeling it takes too long for white to launching a meaningful attack. But we'll see. Black's done anyway. And almost half an hour of Fabi here. I'll be returning to this because I have the greatest interest when folks play the Sicilian. I got a very big interest in the Sicilian Dragon. And oh yeah, guys, don't forget to double check my YouTube channel. I've uploaded um, the last two videos deal with the Sicilian and the so-called refutation that black gives to white when white plays the delayed wing gambit with a3 and b4 and the lapin, some ways to play with black versus the white doing a lapin. So you want to have a look at your convenience, of course. Nepomniachtchi and Nordbeck here. Rook c. Well, you want to move the rook away from the a1 because there is a bishop here and things are always incredibly volatile. So you just don't want to be in a pin. You totally don't want to have the rook and the knight on the same diagonal with the dark square black bishop. So it's very wise to open. And there is another thing. Rook on c1 actually is on the same file with the black queen. And thing is that stuff is going to be exchanged and traded. And your rook potentially attacks on the c, which will get open, I guess, sooner or later. Or at least you hope to. or you try to generate an exchange and open up the sea. Okay. No debate to play. Well, he didn't finalize the development. So that makes me wonder, is he going to play the knight? And if you play the knight, where do you move the knight? If you go c6, you can expect b5. Just genuine question. Well, of course you can jump e. No, you can't because you're gonna lose it, right? So knight c6, b5. When you do like what? You're jumping here. Knight takes, pawn takes. Is this an idea? Well, I'm sure he has a prepared line already, right? I hope, and pretty sure. Although it takes some time for them to enact it. Who knows? There might be some other subtleties we're not aware of. Okay, back to Ding and to Prague here. What did the guys do? Hey, that's exactly what I said. Knight takes c6, bloody hell. And I said I would have played this one like ages ago. That's exactly what I said last time I looked at the position. And that prompts black to take because I'm take your queen. And now you can take with c6 because you attack two black rooks at once. I mean, a rook is guaranteed to be captured. You don't need to react to the h6 threat on the bishop. You don't have to. Now they took, and now you're going to take on a8. That is, this one, not this one. Because if you take this, they sort of taking the material back. Whereas if you take a8, potentially, although I guess black's going to throw bishop a6 straight away, but potentially you may just withdraw to d5. So at least you get something. So bishop takes a8, exactly as I said. And black didn't play bishop a6 to attack the rook and queen attacking the bishop. He ain't. He just pushed the pawn, attacking the knight. Now you need to do something with this bloody passed pawn. That's a passed pawn. And if you want to throw in some bishop and stuff, I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's getting very interesting and very complicated. So he pushed the pawn. Could you go back with the bishop and attack this guy? And after they attack, yeah, I think you could do that before you move the knight. Oh, bloody, he moved the knight. Knight d5. Well, he attacks something. If knight takes, I'm going to take back with the bishop. Thank you very much. But no, bishop a6. As I kind of said. Now, sort of good news. Well, I don't know if it's good news, but at least it's a plan. Before you react to the bishop threatening the rook, before you react to this, you could do a check first. So you check the king. So you're vacating the d5 for the bishop, that is. So you're going to take f6. Sort of he takes with something. And then you decide if you want to save the bishop or to save the rook. So kind of makes sense. But he played bishop c6, attacking the rook with tempo. And rook e6, of course. And rook c1. Gee. Ain't that gorgeous, eh? Man, oh man. Bishop takes f1. As we speak, bishop took f1. You're going to capture, right? I guess. You're sort of going to take. Yes, queen f1. Ding Liren took it right now. I like this game. I like it. If black takes knight, obviously you're going to take back with the bishop, attacking the rook and targeting f7. Looks good. It does look good. It does look good. Ding Liren now, I have to tell you guys, he got 2 pawn islands and they looking ideal. Those guys are super connected, nice and cool. And those guys on the queen side are also connected. Whereas black has 3 pawn islands. This guy's isolated. This guy's isolated. And those like two double pawns on the G. Someone has to open up the door. Open the door, man. All right. Double pawns on the G, and white pawn structure better than blacks. Just better than blacks. Hey, where's the let's okay. So I don't know why I think two minors and a rook. So just evaluating the pawn structure. If white finds a way to get rid of this pawn is kind of like great stuff. I don't know how, or at least to block it. So now black can decide to do stuff here. I guess you're not going to take the bishop. I guess you're going to take the knight. Then bishop takes the knight, and rook has to go. I don't know what that means. Maybe they go b6 to attack your b2. Perhaps. It does make sense, right? And then, well, I don't know, what do you play? You could play b3, but then you need to take special care of this pawn on d4, especially because the bishop on g7 really defends it, and you either block that pawn with the queen, probably, until you figure out a better way to defend and attack. So knight takes, bishop takes, rook b6, b3. What else? I don't know. Queen b8. Maybe. There's many maybes, many ifs. And white needs to, block the black pawn from moving down the board. Although it's a bit painful to keep a almighty queen just to stop a pawn. But that pawn is particularly annoying. Has the potential to moving down and the bishop already targeting. But then again, if you do b3, you had no issue with that. We'll see. It's actually getting really fascinating now. I love it. I like this game. And not to forget my beloved Sicilian Dragon. Hey, Nepo and Fabi here. Ooh, what did the boy do here? Fabi, what did you play, man? He didn't play nothing. Black's turn. So I've already mentioned many ideas that I know they are very much applicable in the Sicilian Dragon. And rook a8 is one of those. Totally. Sacking of the rook on c3. It's totally an idea. Hey, what's that? Did she buy this stuff? What? 30 quid? Gee, alright. Shut the door now. Cheers. Alright. Okay. Rook ac8, b5. Okay. He didn't move. And that makes me wonder, what exactly is he cooking here? What else apart from rook c8 and b5 for black here to play? What else is here for black? b5, I think it's particularly disturbing for white, but also rook ac. It's in the spirit of the Sicilian Dragon. Okay. We'll see about that. We'll see. That's definitely something that I'm highly interested in. Moving now for Anishgiri and Nodibek here. f5. f5. Well, good news for black is that there is no light square bishop. So you're not checkable via that diagonal. And he expands on the king side. He does. And probably he wants to do h6. He does want to do that. And where do you move your bishop? Can you go e3? Kind of, sort of. You're going to be a little bit what they call it in chess, pawn storm, when you're just pushing the pawns up and up and up, and you're just attacking. You're taking everything in your way. You attack everything in the pawn's path, minor pieces and such. So you got to be careful about the h6, g5 and things coming down to your pieces and king's fortress. Careful about that one. Now, the knight on b8 hasn't been developed. So probably he should, and most definitely he will. You can't just play with the knight not developed. So all of the pieces have to be developed. What is it? If you want to take this, take what? All right, cool. Okay. Right. Let me move now to Ding again and Pragnananda. What did they do? Nothing. Yes, he did queen b8, which I did say. I did say about queen b8. Okay, let's look again. What does queen b8 mean? Well, first thing first, attacks the b2 white pawn. So that's just immediate threat on the b2. Well, you could play b3 here with white, right? You could play b3. Of course, you could investigate some other stuff. But it looks like that's a natural way to play b3. Could you do... You know something? I'm thinking about a sick tactic. Can you... Well, it's not that sick. It's just doable. Tell me what do you think, guys, if you feel like to. Knight takes f6. It's a forcing move. I'm taking a piece. I check the king. Black needs to do something. That's a forcing move, right? So they take with the bishop, right? Or rook or whatever. Then, no, the plan is after knight takes f6, if bishop takes, I plan on doing this move. And I'm attacking the rook potentially, and I'm controlling the c8 square for actually rook c1 to c8. Is that conceivable for white here? Or I'm slightly deluded? Knight takes f6. Now, I have to say it is a bit of a wishful chess here, because how do I know black wouldn't take actually with the bishop? I mean, they could take with the rook. They kind of can. I could still go for this, but then queen takes b2. So there's nobody on the back rank. So wishful chess, is like dangerous because you're projecting something that you want to be true, but it may not be objectively true. So that is what's about in chess, at least, and not just in chess, I think. So you're projecting something which is not true. It's not there. The sequence is not forced. So in chess, when you do forcing move, check is a forcing move, but black can take back with either bishop or rook. And it looks to me that he might take back with the rook, as per moving away from the bishop. So this stuff, I'm not sure if it works. Knight takes, rook take. You have to look at rook, not at the bishop. They're not going to take with the bishop. Prague's not going to take with the bishop. You're going to take with the rook. And after rook takes, bishop d7, it does threaten to fork the king and the queen, but queen is going to take on b2. So what did you do? You lost the pawn. That's what you did. And it didn't worth it. So I guess perhaps, firstly, you go b3, for instance. And then you can dream about knight c, knight f6, bishop d7 in order to play rook c8. So b3 seems to be doable. I mean, it looks like you have to do it now. Let me know, guys, if you think differently or something. So b3, you defend the pawn. And yeah, what can I say? So these guys are so strong that it's, of course, they see a lot of things. Well, you always need to have a plan. And again, I think objectively, white is simply having a superior pawn structure here. And based on that, you should be aiming to try and trade off the pieces and keep the superior pawn structure. Then try to win the game. That would be super cool for Ding. He didn't lose a single game in this Sinquefield Cup Grand Chess Tour, but he drew all of the games. That would be fantastic for his psychology if he manages to win this round number, what, 7? I think round 7. 7 or 6? Gee. I think 7 or something. No, round 6, apologies. It's right on the screen, but hey. It's right on the screen. Okay. Ooh, Fabi had played. What the hell did he do? Bishop e6. What the heck? What? Bishop e6. Bishop e6, bishop e6, bishop e6. Well, hell, Nepo's going to take your bishop, right? You know what's the funny stuff about taking the bishop on e6? Looks like you kind of have to. And upon taking, there is one less piece in between the bishop and the b2. And for this reason, he played knight b3. Let me just explain again my thought process, and I think is the correct one. If you had taken, you actually enabled the dark square bishop to being even more powerful. So you do take, okay, you kind of give black double pawns, looks like you're removing a dangerous piece, but upon taking the bishop, as soon as this black knight goes hell knows where, like, I don't know, maybe here, maybe d7, you're actually going to have a tremendous pressure on this diagonal, and if you're adding the 2 black rooks battery on the c file, you're going to have huge problem. So that's the exact reason that Nepo moved the knight on b3. He attacks the queen now. He attacks the queen. And he refused to give black's bishop so much power. But that's going to be very exciting because at the minute, at this very second, Fabi boasts the pair of bishops, and they are looking exactly in the right direction. Well, queen is under attack. So it's worth noting that it's going to be a queen move 100%. Unless there is a big novelty here or... But there's not. It's not. There's no. He has to move the queen. He has to move the queen. That's just it. A bit of a forcing move here. Why you move the queen? Well, because there is no light square bishop, probably you just go a6. Or maybe you want to make a triple power. So you play queen c7, then a rook a c8. And then you're not blocking your own pawns to coming down the board like this, a5 and things. You know, a5, a4, that's the idea. Exactly like white's going to do on the king side with the h pawn and the g. So I think the 2 candidate ideas, queen a6, queen c7. What I don't like in particular about queen c7 is that potentially you might be inviting knight b5 attacking your queen again. I mean, it just feels, I don't know. Hell, you could go back on d8. But I don't know. It might be some others too. It might be some others. Queen b4? Nah. Queen a6? Perhaps. Perhaps queen a6. And then rook ac. And yeah, you take it step by step. You know, this is a classical game in a Sicilian Dragon. I think the next video I'm gonna upload on YouTube, my friends, is this particular game, so I can actually refreshen my theory on the Sicilian Dragon. If Fabi plays it, definitely it's the right stuff, and I'm gonna do a video on this one. So I'm gonna watch it this evening, and maybe tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow, I will be making a video for this particular idea game, Sicilian Dragon. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So which one we kind of skipped? Because I have to say I was biased. I watched a lot Dingliren and Nepo's game because I want to see what I'm interested in. And this one, hell, that's an interesting one too. Gukesh and MVL, fabulous players, so good players. What did the guys do here? Hold on a sec. Let me just go back a couple of moves. Rook c8 makes sense. Hell, you always want to get the rook on an open or semi-open file. Hello, Fajar. Thanks for stopping by. Nah, Magnus Carlsen is not playing this evening, but I understand you're rooting for him, which is absolutely great, and you're not the only one, kind of. So h3 comes as a prophylactic measure. h3, first thing, it doesn't allow any knight or bishop to play on g4, and potentially in some future, if you really bold like mean courageous, not without hair. If you're really bold, you might be going g4, and we'll see about that. Maybe. Hell, that bishop on e6, I don't like it. I just want to get that bishop off the board right now. I don't like that bishop. I don't like it. I hate the bishops. My opponent's bishops, I hate them. If I have a chance, I take them off. I know I'm going to give black 2 connected pawns on the 6th rank, but still I'm going to take that bishop off the board. I hate bishops, and I love my bishops. So guys, as a principle, if you can preserve your bishop pair, do it. And if you can take your opponent's bishop, again, if that bishop is not very static or doesn't do a damn thing, but if the bishop is active, so to speak, like this guy, which kind of like does something, I think you probably may want to take care of that bishop. I mean, just take it off. Goodbye. Castle short here, and knight to e2. Bishop now d7. And MVL said, hell, I'm not going to give you my bishop. Hell, you're not going to touch my bishop. Boom, bishop d7. Take empty space if you want. That's it. There ain't no bishop anymore. The offer has been withdrawn, Mr. Gukesh. You should have taken the bishop out. Goodbye, bishop. Aw. He should have taken the bishop, I guess. It's just dangerous. It is a dangerous bloody bishop. Look at the difference in between the two bishops, the light square black bishop and the light square white bishop. The bishop on d3, it's just embarrassing. I mean, in terms that it doesn't do a goddamn thing, it just protects a pawn. That's his sole purpose now, it just protects a pawn. But the bishop on d7 looks very active. And you know something? They might even play bishop c6. Maybe MVL wants to redeploy the bishop on c6. And all of a sudden, double attack on the e4. You need to come up with some, I don't know, knight g3, knight c3, you name it. Which one is it? We'll see. Wesley Ali Reza, well, they traded off the queens. I'm not interested in this game that much now. There ain't no queen, I don't want to see. No queens. What is, I mean, what? Let's just make a draw and let's just go have a tea or something. I mean, whatever you want to drink. I don't know, so to speak. Не помниш Fabi, Sicilian Dragon. This must be watched. Queen a6, exactly as I bloody said. I said Queen a6 or Rook ac8. Well, no, not Rook ac8 now. After Queen a6, because Queen has to be saved. Queen a6, and Rook's gonna go to c8 on the first occasion. Bishop to d. That means White is so concerned with this bishop, and you should be concerned. If you're playing White Sicilian Dragon, you should be concerned about the black bishop on g7. So Bishop e5 wants to say, if you play the knight on f6, I'm going to take your guy. So if you can't dispose of the bishop via the battery queen d2, bishop e3, bishop h6, and take this guy off, when the rook was on f8, if you can't dispose of the bishop like this, it might be a second plan, or plan B. They used to say in the movies, in films. Plan B is the bishop to d4, and see if you can attempt to do the trade like this, because that bishop in the dragon is really the most dangerous ever sniper looking towards your king. So you want to get that guy. You want to be careful with that bishop. And hopefully for white, that is, you have enough tempi to moving h pawn up, try to dismantle the pawns, and hopefully your guys will be able to protect against the onslaught of Fabi with rook a8, c8 and stuff. And yeah, okay. And also bishop d4 wants to say, if you ever thought about taking my knight with your rook, I'm going to use my bishop. So you're not going to be wrecking my pawn structure, weakening my a2 y pawn and such. So there are so many consequences in chess. One single move has multiple consequences. It's never just one thing. You know, like in life, there you go. There you go. Rook a c8. It's that move you always want to do in the Sicilian Dragon, especially in this scenario. Rook a c8, increasing the power on the C file, semi-open file, and Nepo started to push g4 to g5, the most attacking move. What does that mean? The bishop on g7 will be traded, ladies and gents. It will be traded. So you want to save your knight. You can't lose the knight. You're going to have to move the knight away. And wherever you're moving the black knight, next move would be bishop to d4, bishop from d4 takes on g7. 100%. That's going to be, and knight has to move now. Where? I don't know. Don't ask me where. Could go d7. Could go h5. Where? One of these two red squares. Either this or this. What do you get? I mean, you can't go e8. It's just too painful. Although, given the fact bishop wants to take your bishop, you might be jumping back with the knight. Hell, that might be an idea. So many ideas. There's so many ideas. Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Totally, guys. Love it. Beautiful. Anish Giri Nodibek. What did the guys do here? Nothing. Anish spends a lot of time. He didn't do nothing. For a very, very long time, we might say. Like 40 minutes plus. Oh boy. What's he doing? What move is that? He stayed for so long. Move number 12. He spent already 40 minutes. Jesus. Hey, is he improvising? Did he see something? Is he planning on some knight to d5? in order to take Nordibek's queen. I don't think Nordibek is going to give the queen that easy, but anyway, it's worth trying. Maybe Nordibek loses the focus or something. So you do knight d5. Nordibek is going to play h6, and then you're going to take the guy's queen. With the fork, knight e7. Goodbye, queen. Yeah, I'm just joking. It's not going to happen. I guess after you play knight d5, black's going to react to this. I don't know what that means. Maybe a rook or maybe queen or something. Or maybe moves the king. Maybe. So knight d5 is an attacking move. I guess it kind of makes sense. I like it. Hell, it's a threat. In chess, you have to do threats every single time. If it's a sound threat, if you don't blunder, if you don't get checkmated, I think you should go for threats every single time. You definitely should. Totally should. And back to Ding Liren and Prague here. Queen b5 by Ding. Hey, I think Ding is like more like an assassin this evening. He wants to win. If queens come off the board, and if you keep up with the development and stuff, due to the fact you have superior pawn structure, you might be hoping for a win. The only incredibly annoying thing is this guy, the pawn on d4. You got to be careful with that one. If you sort out this pawn, you should be kind of like maybe winning. Gukesh and MVL here. Queen e1 by Gukesh. Okay, he wants to redeploy the queen. He wants to get probably queen to g3, you know. Stuff like this. Yeah, you never know. Queen g3, maybe bishop. If those guys disappear, you might be just very well checkmating MVL, so it makes sense. Easy job. Wesley Ali Rez, I'm not gonna watch that one very much because they want to draw, so I can't watch a draw. I can't watch two people that want to make a draw. I can't. Yeah, totally makes sense. So you have to play that knight on the blue squares that I've highlighted. Which one? That's up to Fabi. They all kind of make sense. 98 makes sense. It's a painful looking move, like you go with the knight on the back rank. It's painful, but after bishop takes g7, your knight takes on g7. You might have some defensive purposes, and for the king safety, increasing your king safety, probably knight g7. If you want to play a bit more aggressive, probably you should go knight d7, and then hell, I don't know, knight c5 and stuff. That's another plan. That's another idea. It's another way to dealing with this. What's certain is that the knight has to move. Here, here, or here. Every single stuff has its own thing. Also, it's worth noting, guys, that the knight on h5 would be a sort of stopper for this white pawn, h-pawn, moving up the board and challenging your pawns defending the king. So you see, it's so many things. And also, what's cool about knight h5 is that the bishop takes. You could also take it back with the knight if you want, and then jumping back on h5. And there is no light square bishop, so there is no bishop to attack your knight and things. So all things considered, my 2 cents is that knight to h5 makes most of the sense. Knight h5. Ready to replace the traded bishop, for one. Secondly, stopping the white pawn on h2 moving up the board and doing nasty things. Totally. I hope you guys agree with this. And bishop h6. Yeah, bishop h6. You take the king's defender. You trade the king's defender. You exchange it. Always a good idea. Every single time. If you manage to get the battery with the queen and bishop, trade that bishop. Make it gone. All the king's guardians, especially the fianchetto bishop, take them off. You have the dark squares. Actually, it's cool. Let me just show you a little tactic here. If bishop captures, of course, you take back with the queen. And potentially, you might be able to play knight g5 and threaten some checkmate on h7. With the queen h6, knight on g5, you attack on h7, and you threaten some checkmate. Yeah, of course they can defend, right? With either rook or queen, but you're making a threat. A threat is a threat. You should be investigating. So bishop h6 is quite aggressive, nice. And I guess he could play knight d5 later on. See what happens. But it's good. It's good. It really is. I like it. Anish and yeah. Ding again. And Prague. Hey, Prague didn't move a damn thing now. Now Prague's starting to actually think. Well, I'm pretty sure Prague is not very happy now with his pawns scattered everywhere. And the double pawns on the G. I don't think he's particularly excited about that pawn structure. He tries to figure out if he should trade or not. Or if he doesn't trade, where the hell can he go? So yeah. I love the white rook. I absolutely adore the white rook. Splendid. Also, kind of strong battery, queen and the bishop. It's strong battery. And this naughty boy here, the knight on d5, can jump around, making forks and threats. So you must be very, 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 very cautious. If you take the queen, obviously bishop takes. Okay, but also bishop taking keeps an eye on this guy, not allowing black to push it down. Guarding also e6, and it's a very cool bishop, guarding a lot of things. Very efficient bishop, that's nice. And also clears the way for the rook to play back rank and all sorts of things. All sorts of things. Nice e7, attack the rook and stuff, and there's many things happening. So I think there is a slight advantage for white, if I'm correct. I think there is a... Hello, that's good to hear, my friend, to see you, my friend. Yeah. I'm just doing some live coverage of this chess event, Grand Chess Tour. Round number 6 of the Sinquefield Cup with one of the best chess players on the planet. Of course, Magnus Carlsen is the biggest absentee in this beautiful chess event. But other than that, the rest of the gang is actually magnificent. It's splendid chess happening, classical. And I don't know if you've seen, but there is Nepo and Fabi playing a Sicilian dragon. So if you're a great fan of Sicilians, you really want to give it special attention to this game. And as I said to the other guys online, I am going to do a next video exactly on this game that they are playing right now, because Sicilian dragon is fascinating. And I kind of got the right moves that they played, most of them white and black, because I used to play Sicilian Dragon, and I'm quite familiar with the Yugoslav attack and the lines, the main lines, and that's just cool stuff. Oh yeah, so my last prediction here was knight to h5, knight to h5, because bishop takes, knight takes, then I can just jump back if I want to stop the h-pawn advancing. So yeah, and we'll see. Yeah, unfortunately you can't stop the bishop's trade, you being black here, because the bishop on g7 is key for white attacking the dragon. But hey, the bishop's gonna come off the board, I guess. It's yeah, that's fine. It's very playable, and that's gonna be full of ideas and super cool here. Anish Giri Nodibek. Oh well. no debate if he takes, he helps white to get the queen very close to attacking the king and then knight g5. So he's not very happy to trade. On the other hand, if you go in a corner, you're losing the rook. And maybe it's time for him to just get the knight in the game. Not very attractive, though. It's not an attractive idea. You still suffer from lack of development. I don't know, just feels weird. The knight on h5 feels very weird. I guess he wanted initially to push the f4, but I don't know, everything seems a little bit slow for black here now. Knight b8 hasn't been developed. Now there is a challenge on the g7 bishop. And yeah, he's gonna lose the dark squares now, either by trade or, I mean, white's gonna take if you don't take anyway. You know, if black plays rook or something, I don't know, just saying. I mean, white's gonna take the bishop on g7. Back to Ding and prank him. Queen b5. So he actually decided to take queen. So what the hell is he doing? I mean, you have to take on b5 now. Why doesn't he save his minutes? Oh, is he bloody want to take f6 first? Knight takes f6. Bishop takes. And then bishop takes queen. Does he want to play like this? I'm not sure that's a big deal of nothing because, or maybe it is. Maybe it is. Because if you don't do this, after you recapture the black queen, black's gonna take your knight for sure. Then you're gonna take, well, hell, you actually, that's good because you created the pass pawn. If if Ding didn't take yet the queen, is because he's calculating if knight f6 first would be more beneficial for white. It might be more beneficial for white, knight takes f6. So he gives attention to that idea. It's interesting. It is interesting. Maybe he wants to just preserve exactly what we said, the pawn structure. So by taking the black knight, you do save your guys and let them, nicely protecting each other. So you could take on f6, which forces black to take with the bishop or the rook, probably with the bishop. And then you take. But your knight stays there, which is on a... No, the knight doesn't bloody stay there. It stays there if you take the queen first, right? So you take and then bishop takes. Yeah, of course you can. Well, he's calculating that. He's just calculating this. I hope you're not going to do something crazy. Come on, Ding. Just take the bloody queen. Or take the knight. Come on, man. Okay. We'll see. Gukesh, MVL. Bishop c6. Yeah, we did say about this. I did say about bishop c6 some half an hour ago. Bishop c6, of course. Bishop c6. Double attack on the e4, isn't it? Knight attacks, bishop attacks. Double attack on the e4 pawn. Now you have to defend it because you didn't want to take with your knight, right? So how do you defend now? You're going to play knight back on c3 or you're going to go g3 on the king side? Maybe knight g3. Who knows? Maybe then you're going to play knight f5. Actually, that's a cool idea. I like it. So guys, imagine this. Knight g3. All of a sudden, you're defending e4 3 times. Everything's cool. Your bishop on d4 can't be challenged by any black pawn, which is great. That is called an outpost, by the way. So you play knight g3. You defend this guy on e4 3 times. I don't know what black plays, but in principle, you have the chance to play knight f8, which is, I think, amazing. It's an amazing improvement for that knight. Knight e2, knight g3, knight f5 is just great. Great, 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 great. And obviously black can't play g6 to prevent knight f5 because that weakens all the dark squares around the king very much. So he can't push g6 just like that. It's a weakening move. So I guess knight g3 makes a lot of sense. You guys tell me if you think differently. Do tell me. So knight g3. And I think white is a bit better, attacking more. Not too much better. It's a plus, let's say plus what? Plus 0.20. Hey, we can play that game. So I'm gonna put the engine just for a fraction of a second, and I want to double check the evaluation gauge. If there is, I think, plus 0.30, right? Plus 0.20, plus 0.30. Let's see how far away from the truth I am. Or maybe I'm not. Oh, blind me. Plus 0.33. That's it. We don't need no bloody engine. That's it. Plus 0.33. Can you imagine? I got so freaking close to the evaluation. This is plus 0.33. Yep. That's just exactly what it is. And yeah, we said Wesley and Ali Reza. I don't want to watch it because they want to draw. They're not serious this evening. I can't watch that. Nepo, Fabi, absolutely. The things have changed. Rook c8, g5. The hell? Oh, for cracking sake. If this guy disappears, there is a thing here with rook taking on c2 and attacking the queen and the... Oh my god. Hi there, Flamfo. So this is spectacular stuff. This is so spectacular. That's why he stayed so much time he spent onto this move. Bloody hell, I thought knight h5 is just something that you do almost automatically, but not Fabi. Is this a brilliancy? Knight takes e4, attacks the queen. So this is something serious, you can't just ignore it. It does attack the queen. Now, if you take with the knight, there is an open door here. It's a door open to hell here with rook c2, killing a little bit everything on the second rank and stuff. Hitting the queen, more importantly. And opening up the bishop like this together with the queen. It's looking really, really sharp. Chessello on chess.com rapid is the highest. Currently is 2200. My blitz is 2000 up and down. Every day my bullet 18, 1900. Every day up and down. If I do 100 games bullet a day, can you imagine? And the same on Lee Chess, and my Elo FIDE rating rapid 2 years ago was 1752. I guess it might be a little bit better maybe if I am to go to another competition somewhere in London, maybe Golders Green, I don't know. It might be slightly higher. I like to think. Now, I'm going to see about that. So, what about this spectacular move? This is very this is something. You know, watching the clock now, Nepo had spent, so to speak, only 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes of his time. This is insane. Nepo spent 5 minutes. He got himself into this. Fabio, on the other hand, has 48 minutes. He did spend way, way, way more time. And look at this move. Now, what happens if he takes with a pawn, though? He takes with a pawn. Let's just imagine this. He takes with a... What the hell is going on here? So, again, if knight takes, there is rook c2, right? There's rook c2, right? Also, if this guy were to capture, if you move with the knight, you're practically getting checkmated just like that. No, you don't, because it's still the knight on c3. But it's not anymore because they took, right? Jesus. Look at the craziness of this. What if pawn takes? Okay, so let's go back. What if pawn takes? So that's why if I be spent like, what, 40 minutes for this? f3 takes e4. What the hell you do with black here? What do you do? What's the stuff? Bishop takes. Well, knight takes. Rook takes here. And then bishop attacks on h2 together with the black queen. There is some crazy tactics here. I'm not sure if that's a brilliancy or not, but it looks incredibly psychological. I'm not sure I'm going to be doing it now, Flam 4. But you know something? If tomorrow I'm logging in a bit earlier, we could do maybe a rapid, friendly, informal, casual rapid. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you're going to get notified when I go live. And yeah, if you're coming online, we could do like a friendly, casual, rapid. Oh, do you know something? There's something else. Send me a friend request on chess.com or Leechess, whichever. Send me a friend request, and we can do a correspondence game or maybe a casual rapid. What do you think about that? So make sure you're sending me is the same username on both chess platforms. It's Soren Chess Coach everywhere. So send me a friend request. I'll accept it, of course, and we can do then whenever we want and stuff like that. So we're gonna play, not a problem, and we can analyze things and stuff. Again, so let's go back now to the current position. If f3 takes e4, right? You could take the bishop. It's something. They can't take with the queen because there is a rook. Knight takes. Right. Knight takes. Right. Rook takes c3, removing the defender of the h2. Rook takes c3, and after rook takes c3, you're also threatening rook c2. This is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. Now, I'm not sure 100% what accuracy is the last move Fabi played, but as sure as hell is highly psychological, and it just blows up everything. Everything has exploded after knight e4. Again, I was almost blindly accepting knight h5. I said knight h5, it's automatic, right? I don't even have to think too much. But then Fabi came with knight takes e4. Boom. Totally next YouTube video would be on this game, my friends. I said that one half an hour ago, and now I'm reiterating because this is looking too good not to dedicate a YouTube video and with an extensive as possible analysis. It don't matter if the video would be 20 minutes or half an hour. It's just phenomenal. I love it. And I think it's very great for those of us that play either Sicilian Dragon with black. That's more like an endorsement of the quality of the defense, so to speak. Or those of you that play with white, the Yugoslav attack, because that's what Nepo plays in this game against Fabi. What a bloody move. Knight e4. And he spent a lot of time here. Unbelievable. These guys are phenomenal. These guys are phenomenal. I don't know what Nepo is going to play. First, he needs to assess the damage. Let's put it like this, like in a hierarchy of priorities, because everything is a priority now. The biggest priority, if I may say that, is that the white queen is being attacked. So you need to do something. about this threat. So as you know, you either run away, which kind of like now working, moving the queen away because well, probably it does. You already lost the pawn, and black making enormous pressure with the bishop and the battery of rooks on the c. Probably capture the attacker. Capture the attacker with what? Capture the attacker with what? With the pawn, right? Let me look again. Knight takes knight, right? Okay, knight takes knight. But then you have rook c2. Good luck. Good luck very much. Rook c2 not just attacks the queen. Bishop takes on b3. Sorry. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure, of course. Of course. I don't know. It's just awful. So pawn takes, right? He gave up a piece, a knight, for activation of the attack and activation of the bishop, rooks, the other bishop, and queen. All black's pieces are literally attacking. All black's pieces. All black pieces are attacking. Whereas white rook on h1, well, doesn't do nothing. You could take this rook and put it off the board because it doesn't even matter that rook. Rook on h1 doesn't do nothing for the time being. White is actually being sieged, is besieged here. It's got 3 minor pieces defending the king, queen and rook. And all black pieces are just attacking now. All of them. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Wow. Now that's something. That is instructive. Very instructive. Back. Oh, they drew here? Man, you know, Ding didn't lose a single game in this Sinquefield Cup. The question is he going to actually win? Okay, at least he didn't lose. You know, he didn't lose. That's another exciting, and I mean, it's just like a billion pieces. They barely traded what? Like a pawn? No bishop, no knight, no rook had been traded. They only traded the pawn. The board is like boiling of tension and attacking points, and there's just so much to calculate here. MVL has like half an hour extra now. Hey, exactly as I said. Like when? Like 20 minutes ago I said that knight g3 is the only and the best move here because defends the e4 once, twice, and 3 times, and also, more importantly, invites knight to f5. More importantly, to which I think black can play bishop f8. Purely defensive, but you can't have them all. It's just, you have to do it. You have to do it. So knight g3 being played, Blackstone, by the way. So maybe you don't need to prophylactically play bishop f8. But what I want to underline is that g6 is a disaster for black to play due to complete loss of the dark squares. So you don't do g6 here. I don't know what. I don't know what. Maybe bishop f8 prophylactically seeing what whites want to come up with. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what else. The bishop on d3 feels incredibly inefficient in order for you to trade an active black knight for the idle bishop on d3. So I'm not sure about knight d3. Probably you kind of can, but... And you're helping white to connect the pawns here, the central pawns. So actually you kind of... g6 he played! Jesus. Dude, that's coming at a cost. I understand the function. I understand the reason for playing g6 with black here. I do. It really, he is desperate to stop knight f5. I understand. But boy, have you lost the dark squares. Most certainly you bloody did. Now, I dream about an ideal dream I dream about some b3, some bishop b2, bishop a1, just staying there, tormenting, tormenting black with this diagonal. And I don't know, just get a queen also in the dance here, or the dark squares and things. And that's going to be a long issue for black's defenses here. The dark square diagonal, this one in particular. When you play g6, you give up on the dark squares. Unless you, I don't know what you want to play. I don't know. g6, okay. Probably wasn't an easy choice for black to do so. Hey, don't say that, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, don't say that. It's a learning thing. Look, so if we play some informal casual chess, it's just to learn stuff and things. I'm not thinking in these terms, you know. And anyway, I'm coaching some clubs and some primary school students and kids and something. So it doesn't mean anything. You're just 300 LO. You're gonna get stronger and stronger as you understand more, and that goes for everybody. So look at the bright side of the things. You're actually gonna get even stronger. So, you know, maybe you're going to get 600, maybe you're going to get 900 in a year, or maybe less, maybe in a half a year. So, because invariable, as you understand more, you're going to have a higher rating. So, don't stress yourself for this kind of things. Just be cool with this, and it's okay. Okay, g6. Now, what we can say for the time being is that knight doesn't have any chance to go knight f5 now. So you can't do this. You can't, can you? You can't do this, can you? Knight f5, pawn takes, queen checks. You can't be that crazy. You can't be that crazy to give a knight. Right? Can you be that crazy? I mean, crazy, but it's got to have some sense. It's got to be some calculation. Nah, it doesn't work. No, I don't think it works. It's just too crazy. It's too nuts. You can't do this. If, I don't know, if queen was already or closer or something, but it's not. You need to take your time now and just take it slow. Take it step by step, just slowly now, because black already had created weaknesses. Let me highlight the weaknesses. It's those dark squares, okay? So black already done something that weakens the king's position, so to speak. So take it, you know, steadily now, step by step. Don't play anything reckless. Yep, totally. Also, let me just say something. No, you can't give up on this beautiful bishop. I was thinking about the bishop capture, pawn takes, and then you're going to play the bishop to having a direct discovered attack on the black queen with something like bishop takes e6 or something like this. Is this conceivable? So bishop takes, pawn takes, right? Knight's being attacked, by the way. But then you play bishop takes a6, you attack the queen. But you already have two pieces on prey, namely the knight on f4 and the bishop on e6, and the queen goes to safety. And I don't know. Probably it's not quite working now. Probably not now, right? Well, I don't know. It's Gukesh's call now. He needs to come up with another plan. Knight f5. It's not quite playable now, I guess. Yeah, you can't do it. And back to the... Oh my god, that's what I wanted to see. He took it a pawn. Obviously, he took it a pawn, which I said white should do because you don't have a choice. And now the slaughter had started. Bishop takes d4. Boom. Knight took. You guys notice there is something funny about a2. If knight on c3 If knight on c3 wasn't there, you got yourself checkmating like 2. So you got to be careful about that. Rook takes c3. Didn't I say that actually the perennial theme in the Sicilian Dragon is a rook sacrifice on c3, which happens very often. Very, very often. Rook c3, removing the defender of the a2. So now at this stage, if you are to give black 2 more moves, it's just checkmate. Queen takes a2. King goes c1. Queen a1, check and mate. So this is a killer. This is absolutely bloody killing. A3, desperado. A3 to stop the checkmate. You're just going to get checkmated if you take the rook. If you touch the rook, you're going to pay too much of a price. So A3 to stopping queen, getting to A2. And now I think black is in big, like, attacking ideas. It's just absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Yeah, we can analyze some of your games. Of course you can. I mean, just one, I guess, for the time being. Send me a link. We're going to have a quick look at it. If you want Flam for, send me a link. We're going to have a very quick look at your game. Then I'm going to be reverting back to this Super Grandmasters playing. And I'm gonna have to go to get myself another drink, guys, and then I'm gonna be returning with this live comments. So these are live games, by the way. And yeah, copy paste the link on the chat, and you can't send links. Oh, are you sure? If the game you played is on chess.com, it might be another way. Just type in your username and I'll try to find you and go to the archive, pick up your game, and then we're going to look at it. So there might be another way to doing this. Just tell me the username. If it's chess.com, by the way, because I'm using this platform this evening. And then we're going to look at your stuff. But first thing first, I got to go get another beverage, and then we're gonna do your game, and then we're gonna continue with this beautiful Sicilian dragon with a spectacular rook c3 sacrifice denied by Nepo, because if he had taken, then checkmate would have ensued in only 2 moves. And now a3 blocking the checkmate, and black has to decide, of course, what do next. You're going to move rook c4. What are you doing? Is there any other crazy stuff you might be able to play? Is there another sacrifice? Bang. Is rook a3 worth considering? I'm asking for a friend. Rook c3 takes a3. You would assume you kind of have to take. If you don't take, you toast, because it's just checkmate. Rook a3, pawn takes, queen takes. Oh, man. Okay, if I was Fabi, I would give another 10-15 minutes, whatever it takes, because if you play this one nicely, you actually win it. So you have to investigate quite extensively, comprehensively, I'd say, if rook takes a3 is actually winning for black. So you need to look at this one seriously, because if this one works out, you're actually just winning the game. Okay, let me get that drink. And no, my God. No, he found a better way. He said, I'm going to checkmate you with a battery, queen and bishop, b3 now. Something is going on here. My God, b3 hitting the queen. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What do you give away? Do you play rook b3? Do you retreat queen? I don't know where. What? This is fabulous. Okay, I'm going to be back in a sec, guys. I'm going to be back in a second. I apologize. Be back in a sec, fellas. Okay. Where are we? Okay, guys. All right. So, where were we? Let me move this chat panel somewhere. Okay. The username was scroller with double L and double R. Okay. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Let me type in your name. Let me type in your username, that is. Uh Scroller, you said. Does it matter if I put low or capital or something? Let me do it as you vindicated there. ERR. Scroller. It's the one on top, I guess. Okay. So, which one is it? The Blitz? You played the Blitz. Okay. Do you know something, Scroller? Just briefly. Try to do perhaps more rapids rather than Blitz and Bullet now, because you actually need to understand what you're doing. You need to actually think before you moving pieces. So try to investigate more rapids, do more rapids. I think for fun, look, I'm commuting in London a lot and I'm doing chess whilst I'm waiting for the train or whatever, tube or whatever. And I'm doing some bullet like 1 minute. I don't take it tremendously seriously, right? But if I really want to play and think about the stuff I want to do, you need to do rapid. Totally. So let's proceed now. You being white here. Okay, let me just cover everything because I want to keep it nice and real. E4, E5, knight F3. Hey, I don't want to see nothing on the screen. I just want to keep it as raw as possible. I don't know if I can. Can I? Hold on a sec. What's going on? Wait a sec. Wait a minute. No, not this. Apologies. Wait a minute. How do I want to cover everything. No analysis. Leave it like this. Leave it like this. In the first instance, no engine. So bishop c4, that's the Italian game. Gioco piano. Okay, so far so good. Bishop c5. You could play also Evans Gambit. Have you heard of the Evans Gambit? You can play b4 here for the ideas like c3, d4, queen, b3 and stuff like that. So the Evans Gambit, we can discuss about this on some other. Hey, you played the Evans Gambit. Oh, of course you played. Bishop takes. c3, that's theoretical book move. 5 minutes, it's almost decent, I think. d4, that makes sense again. And you've castled, of course. The guy took. He gets a bit greedy. Now you can hit them immediately. Oh, I would play queen b3. You actually go bishop f7 straight away now because you've got queen b3 afterwards and the king's out in the open. And now you can proceed with queen attacking. And also you've got a knight to g5. This one is also exploitable and things because you got bishop and knight together. But that's a check and you attack the bishop anyway. So something's gonna be captured here. King e8. You took on c5. It's very good. You took on c5. Also, you got all sorts of stuff happening. That doesn't help very much. Whoa. What do you think about... Hold on a second. What did you play in the game? Queen takes c3. Nah, you don't want to trade the queens because your queen is more powerful now. You don't have to trade the queens now. I think you gotta focus on attacking. I wonder if this one works. I wonder. It's attacking the queen though. Hello, Mosen. Just looking at the friend's game here, and then we're gonna go to see a Sicilian dragon being played right now as we speak, in between Nepo and Fabi. Mosen, what would you play here? I don't think queen c3 is the most aggressive stuff. What do you think about this? Bishop g5. Is this better? Or maybe pawn? Actually, I think I like pawn a lot. because takes, and yeah, it just doesn't work. So e5 is quite something, I guess. E5 or bishop g5. I'm actually oscillating. No, man, you don't have to be sorry about this. You're not bound to any sort of commitments in terms of viewing the streams or anything, so that's okay. Yeah, I think you totally should. I think you absolutely should be going to bed. Totally. Uh, so I think e5 or okay, queen c3 would be prompting a queen straight. Oh my god, he didn't take the queen. He didn't take the queen. He was supposed to kind of take. See you, man. Cheers. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. See you tomorrow or some other time. Not a problem. Absolutely. Oh boy. There's something weird. Nah, I think better would have been perhaps, let me think. Should you take here, you attack the knight with tempo, you open up the E for the rook potential, and if they want to take your queen, you're going to take it anyway. So I think there might be a better way to be dealing with the current position. Queen takes, knight takes, you kind of like helping guy to develop his pieces. You got to strike them before they actually castle and things. Now you attack with tempo. Now knight on c6 has to go. Or whatever. But now you got a check coming. You've got a massive check coming on e1, and you should do this immediately. I love it. I just love this check. Brilliant. King's out in the open. You need to find ways to develop your guys. Where do we want the bishop? We're also having a check here. I like that idea. I think you should be exploring this. Maybe you should be exploring this. You need to develop your pieces. You need to attack a little bit. Get the guys out. Nah, I don't want to trade. I want to check on the king side. So you play knight to e5, check. Maybe the guy trades and stuff. Yeah, you should have checked anyway. Now, you know something? He could play like c6. And you're not going to touch this knight. And the knight is not going to be challenged by any pawns and stuff. So, nah, he should have played c6, I guess. He shouldn't have played knight f6. No, okay, at least you developed something. So we have to develop. h6, you shouldn't trade. You shouldn't trade. You should just drop bishop h4. You shouldn't trade. No, I don't think you should trade. Just keep it nice and cool. Let him push because he's weakening stuff, and then go bishop g3. Maybe you're going to grab more stuff from them. Let's think differently. Let's think differently. Maybe we should keep the rook on the e file. I'm not sure. Maybe here, in order to get the other rook a on e and making a battery and further checks on the 7th rank? Perhaps. Perhaps rook e2. Although if bishop, yeah, you can play f3 and bishop has to move. And then you're going to go with the knight on a dark square, so you don't have a problem with the dark squares. Rook a6, rook a5 is not going to do nothing. In the worst case scenario, they just play this and that's it. It doesn't really go for the kill. The kill is on f7, is not on a7. So the target is f7. And now he attacks you with tempo, creating a vacant place for the bishop. That actually bishop e7 with the rook, that is something you need to be careful about. So that's exactly what black threatens you to do. Rook a3 after bishop b7. Rook a3 is kind of cool because you are able to play rook g3 if there is any rook g8 coming and threatening g2. So rook a3 from this point of view, that's why I think the engine gave it a good move. Okay, he just threatens checkmate in a move now. He goes rook e1, checkmate. You must play the knight, I would say. C3, knight c3. Oh, no. No. I think you got to get the knight out. No, you have to play the knight. So, Stroller, that's important now. Get the knight to tempo. Just get the knight in the game. You have to get the knight. Maybe knight c3. Just saying maybe because maybe knight b5. I'm going to go for c7. So go courageously, or maybe knight d2 so that the rook can just move over to the... I mean, you can probably play on the 3rd rank attacking maybe this guy at some point in the future. So maybe knight d2 in order to allow rook to circulate freely. So knight d2. Not h3. I don't think I will play h3. No, no, no. Uh-uh. What? Oh, I think he's supposed to play bishop b7 here. No, he's not supposed to play what he played. You found a trap to what? Win the... what? What? I think the reason for which this is deemed as a blunder might be having to do... Oh my god. Is it a check? And your knight can't move. Because it's pinned and that's a check. Then you have to go, I don't know where. But then the guy is going to get the other rook. Sorry, first thing first, there is a rook that comes back rank. So you can't move the knight. That's for one. And then secondly, probably a bishop here and the other rook over here. And I think you might have a bit of an issue now. Honestly, I don't think that's going to end up very well for white because back rank. So when you played h3, you actually had an opportunity to play knight c3 or knight d2. You're actually using all of your pieces. Rook f3, nope. Oh, man. Do you know why the engine says king e6 is a missed win for your opponent? Your opponent was supposed to actually sanction you with the rook e1 straight away. I don't know what the engine would say, but I think that is exactly why rook f3 is a blunder, because you're actually going to get in a very, very delicate position after rook e1. And actually, let me see if I'm correct. Yes, unfortunately, it's rook e1. Unfortunately, it's rook e1 with devastating consequences there. I mean, just from this point of view, but that's okay. Let's moving. Oh, no. Actually, he gets the king in front of the rook. So what's actually weird with the king e6 is that he had potential attacking ideas, and actually he blocks a rook. He blocks a file from a rook that was incredibly active. So he really, really missed a huge opportunity after the check, and I don't know, you name it, it's just so much stuff, and actually you're gonna lose a piece. That doesn't mean anything. Missed. Okay, wait a minute, what the hell is that? He's supposed to play the knight now, right? Knight c3, knight d2, and then check your king. And then win your bishop. Right. You play knight somewhere. That is D or C. Probably C. With the idea that perhaps you could do rook e1, check the king, and distance the king from protecting the bishop on f5. What do you think about this idea, Scroller? So it's knight c3, making space, rook e1, push the king away from defending the bishop, and potentially you might be able to win the bishop. That's a cool idea. You attack. Okay, that's cool. But on the other hand, you never know. Maybe you're going to make a mistake with king h or king g, and then the guy is going to play some bishop e4. So I'm not sure about the g4 that much. Still, the piece hasn't been developed in like, what, 23 moves? So knight on b1 was meant to be developed like ages ago. You have to develop your pieces. That can't be a bad move. I mean, put the bishop and attacking a rook and stuff. So, yeah, sort of. Yeah, all he has to do is just move the king back on f7, I guess. So if he drops king f7, there's nothing. You haven't got anything. And if there's any f or knight c3, he can very well play bishop to c6, defending this guy, moving the bishop to safety, enjoying a huge diagonal for the bishop. No, not this. No way. No, that's not the move. No, I mean, look, he kind of like helped you a little bit, so to speak. Inadvertently. I mean, he didn't want to do this on purpose, but you can't keep the king when the piece is actually pinned already, absolutely, and you can amass knight c3, f3 anytime, and that's just game over. You're actually winning the bishop because the guy played a bad move. If your opponent, Scroller, if your opponent had played king f7 now, you got nothing. I mean, you just got nothing. Actually, he is better than you if he does king f7. He's better than you. He got pawn majority on the queen side. Everything is nice and protected. Bishop c6, and that's it. He paralyzes your knight on all the light squares after knight c3, presumably. So, but the guy made a bad choice. This is just not what we want. No. Exactly as I said, knight, pawn, or whatever, that guy is going to be captured. Bishop is more, with the pawn is more aggressive because you're going to take with the pawn, not with the knight, if he does some F. But not even that, it doesn't work. Now, yeah, he tried it maybe a bit too late. King e5 was a disaster. When he moved the king in front of the rook was an absolute disaster. He shouldn't have put the king in front of the rook. That's why he lost, primarily. And now you just collect the free stuff. And you're going to be trading. And still the knight on b1 hadn't been played yet. So you really have to take those pieces out faster, way faster. Now if you want to be funky, you could even play knight c3. Right now, you don't have to do nothing else. Knight c3 checks the king. The king can't cross the barrier because check from the rook. The king can't touch the rook because there is f3 and knight c3 protecting the rook. So knight c3 is just having fun at this point in the game. You play knight c3, we say in chess, with tempo. Yeah, that's cool. But I think knight c3 is really, it's quite cool. You develop with tempo and you activate the knight with the potential rook a1 becomes active as well. Yeah, I mean, everything works now. Yeah, everything works. It doesn't matter. Everything works. You name it. I don't know. Rook c, knight e. Yeah, rook c, it's great. Then you can play knight e. You're going to go c7. You could just hit everything. Yeah, that works. Of course it works. Move the knight to e. And you attack two weaknesses at once. After knight e4, you actually attack c7 with the rook, and you attack f6 with the knight. Very many things. And he got to be careful all the time to not getting skewered or forked or you name it. That's it. Exactly as I said, knight e4. Okay, the guy should be resigning at this stage. You either take c7 or you take f6. Probably you should take f6 because you attack the rook. And... okay, just let me think. Well, you could do a check with the knight. You could do a check with the king. Or you could play knight d7. Well, it doesn't matter. Everything wins here. If you don't blunder piece and stuff, everything wins. Or you could do rook c6. Yeah, he's going to take on f3, right? Nah, you have to move the knight. Probably here, just take some stuff back. And if he takes with the rook or something, you're going to do a skewer, just get rid of their things. Okay, that's a check. He attacks you. You attack the rook. Okay, fair trade. King takes, you take. Nah. Yeah, now that's a skewer. That's a skewer. If he touches the knight, you're actually going to play rook d1 and you check the king, you win the whole thing. That's it, game over. Yeah, that's game over. Nice one. But then again, you have to develop your pieces maybe a little bit faster. You played like for 23, 24 moves with the knight on b1 undeveloped. So you have to get those pieces way, 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 way quicker. That's my very honest interpretation of what happened. Thanks for the game anyway. That was a cool idea. Let me go to the remaining games now. Black had won. Oh, wait a second. Of course, I was expecting Fabi to win this. Gee, man, where were we last time? This just what a phenomenal thing he played. I think we were here, b3. And queen c5, maintaining triple power. Triple power. And not just triple power on the c, there is also queen a3. My God, this is just killing. Rook c1, this is desperation. This is absolute desperation. God, Jesus, queen a3. This is so done. Okay, h4 after like a billion years. So late. Rook c5. Ooh, yeah, that's about it. Rook c5 left, meaning my friends, rook a5 and then queen a1 delivering. Thank you very much. Rook CF, that doesn't mean anything. Probably he played it to give the opportunity for folks to relish in this Sicilian dragon for those of them. Wait a minute. Bishop takes b3. So probably it's more than one way to be winning this. I wonder if rook a5 is workable. Let me just ask the almighty. Rook c2, bishop b. Is rook a5? Or maybe rook a5 is not the best one ever. No, it's queen c3 because you lose the rook. Doesn't work. My God. You got to be careful of this stuff. I've forgotten that actually the queen attacks c3, black rook. So rook takes c2, queen takes c2. So rook takes c2. If knight takes queen b3, and then you got this battery. If knight takes, there is no more defense for the b3, and then you go this way. And if queen takes, there is rook. And now, who cares? You lost the queen, right? I mean, you lost the queen. It doesn't even matter now. There's no checkmate, but the advantage is crushing. Oh my God, what a game. So that was, guys, 4 bloody brilliances by Fabi. And that was a brilliancy. During the game, I was absolutely in shock. Let me see if... So that's equal. White's supposed to be playing seemingly queen g5, which sort of makes sense. Of course, you'll get the queen on the king side. Queen g5, queen e2, rook he1. Sure. He played g5, which kind of understandable. And now Fabi spent here like, what, 20 minutes? And he came with the best move available. So guys, this is the Sicilian dragon. If you mess it up a little bit, you just get yourself into the full brilliances by Fabi. And 94 is the beginning of the end. Jesus, look at this. Bishop takes, knight takes. Rook c3. This is the stuff that actually happens quite often. Queen to c4. Gee, look at this battery. My God, Fabi is terrifying. Wow. There was something at some point after queen a5 with black. So this is just for the theory because I really do want to make a film about this, a video for YouTube. So what I normally know in the Yugoslav attack is that you build up now the battery with the bishop right now, queen d2 for bishop h6. So you go with this battery straight away in the Yugoslav attack. He played queen d3, and I'm not very clear as per why exactly he did do that. Anyway, knight e5, centralizing, attacking queen with tempo. You shouldn't have moved queen on d3 on the first place anyway. He shouldn't have. So he played knight to e5, hitting the queen now, and opens up the c, so to speak. Queen to d2, making the battery, which he was supposed to be doing anyway, 2-3 moves ago. Bishop d7, developing the bishop, making space for the rook to play on the c file, looking down the board, exactly where the white king is supposed to be. Castle long, there you go. Rook c8. Let me just cover up everything here. Rook c8. King to b1, moving away. That's something that happens a lot. Knight now. Attacking queen again with tempo, so you've got to decide on this. Bishop takes, so he removed one of the white's king defenders. Rook takes on c4. And I said during the live stream, actually, we will be seeing this stuff. What makes sense. Bishop e6, though, again, trying to moving the defenders away. Now Nepo plays knight to b3, attacking queen with tempo. I did say queen a6 during the live stream. Bishop to d4. Kind of makes sense, right? Because you're looking towards this bishop. And rook to a to c. And now comes the ending. So Nepo should have played queen to g5 because apparently queen to g5, I think the recommendation goes in this way because you might be able to just play queen to b5 and generating some trades, de-intensifying the black attack on the white king. So, you know, along these lines. But he pushed the g5 pawn, hoping in the spirit of the Yugoslav attack, you're going to take that bishop out. But then it comes the killer move. Boom. And if this guy would capture, I guess we're looking at bishop takes. You can't take with the queen because rook takes, knight takes, and the pawn knight takes, rook c3 again, and then you got this massive issue. So he kind of had to take with the pawn, but it's looking quite grim now for white. Bishop takes, knight takes, rook takes c3, clearing the way for this. Clearing the way. a3 to stopping desperately. Queen c4 maintaining the killing battery. b3 weakening everything. Queen c5 eyeing a3. Rook c1. Queen takes. That's absolute killer. Rook to c5, I think he had an intention, but then obviously you kind of lose the protection for a c3. Rook f. And what happened in the game? Oh yeah, bishop takes b3. Bishop takes b3 here. And white has resigned. White has resigned here. So if knight would capture, rook takes, right? If knight would capture here, I think rook takes. What do you play? It doesn't matter, right? Takes. Wait a second. This guy takes. If this guy plays here, wait a minute. What did we miss? No, rook c2, rook c2, rook c2, rook c2, rook c2. You attack the queen. You attack the queen, and the knight had lost its protection. So queen has to go, and actually you're having queen b2 checkmate. Not just you attack the queen, you actually go for the queen b2. And you can't do queen c1 because rook. So it's the b2. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Guys, thank you very much for this stream. I absolutely do appreciate your presence here, guys. And hey, Ronnie, I've seen now the messages you left on the TikTok. I appreciate very much your presence, my friends, Jane and Ronnie. Appreciate, guys, you being here for the stream. I'm multi-streaming, guys, so you can arrive. You can visit the stream either via TikTok or YouTube or Kick.com or Twitch or Facebook. I'm using the same username. So, guys, I appreciate your presence, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, perhaps. I am going to do a short video, or maybe not that short, maybe a long video on this particular game, which I find it revelatory for those of us that play the Sicilian Dragon. A very highly instructive game. Take care, guys, and see you soon.